Yeah, and fear of rejection means then that you won't belong, right?
Yeah.
And that you won't be loved. So ultimately, fear is our survival. It can be a
Yes.
protective mechanism, but it also limits us.
Yeah. It keeps you in the same pattern as you're used to going in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think it's a good question, Edison. How can we transform it?
Okay, shall we go with that, and then we can see what it gives us, and then we can
Yeah.
ask more.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I've said. Just think about it. Would you please help us transform fear? Now, do we want to say to what? Or do we want to just leave it like that and see what it says and then take it from there?
Let's leave it like that to start with.
Okay, great. Let's go. Okay, so I love how it answers things. It says, of course I can. Isn't that great?
Self-confidence.
Then it says, fear is a natural and universal emotion, but it can also be transformed into a source of growth, strength, and empowerment.
Mm.
Below are some strategies to help you or others work through fear and transform it into something positive. Okay, so now the first step is understand the nature of fear.
Mm.
Then it says acknowledge it. What do we say, right?
Allow it.
Yeah. And then it says fear often arises as a protective mechanism.
Mm.
Recognize it without judgment. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me or protect me from? Okay, so that's the first thing. Then it says, identify the source. Is your fear based on a real threat? Or is it rooted in uncertainty, past experiences, or limiting beliefs?
Mm.
Understanding the root can help you address it more effectively.
Mm.
Number 2, shift your perspective. One way to do that is to reframe fear as excitement. Physiologically, fear and excitement feel similar. For example, increased heart rate. So instead of saying, I'm afraid, try saying, I'm excited about this challenge.
Mm.
Then see fear as a teacher. Fear often points to areas where you can ask, where you can grow. Sorry. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this?
Mm.
Then the third aspect is take action despite fear. How do you do that? You start small, you break it down, what you're afraid of, into manageable steps. And this will build confidence as it reduces the power of the fear. Also, face it gradually. Exposure to what scares you in small doses can help desensitize you over time and build resilience. And I mean, that relates so much to what we emphasize in terms of daily practice, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, there's a lot here. Then number 4 is cultivate inner strength. Practice mindfulness, meditation, grounding exercises, breathing exercises, which all calm your nervous system and bring you back to the present moment. Okay? Visualize success. Imagine yourself overcoming the fear and succeeding, because visualization rewires your brain to associate the situation with positive outcomes. And then it also says you can use affirmations like, I am safe, I have the strength to face this, I am capable. There's a lot here. It goes on, still another 2 points. 5, transform fear into growth. Channel it into creativity. Many artists, writers, and innovators use fear as fuel for their creative process. Let fear inspire you to try something new. So that talks then again about how we use the emotion, right? And then it says step into courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's taking action despite it. Celebrate every small act of bravery. And it's so important, because when we celebrate something, our biochemistry changes and there's more release of the neurotransmitter of dopamine.
Mm.
And the last one is seek support. Talk about it. Sharing your fears with someone you trust can provide relief, as well as new perspectives.
Mm.
And then the last one was professional help. And then number 7, practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you fear to what you appreciate. And that also releases dopamine. So each day, write down 3 things that you're grateful for. It helps cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity.
Mm.
Final thought. Fear is not your enemy. It's an opportunity for transformation. By understanding it, reframing it, and taking intentional steps forward, you can turn fear into a powerful ally on your journey towards growth and fulfillment.
Wow.
We're
Isn't
doing
that
most of it
great?
except seeking professional help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although we have you, Alison, you're professional, so we also get the professional help.
And I've got AI to help me.
That was
No,
wonderful.
it's so wonderful. This.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry I have to go. Thank you all.
Bless you,
great day,
T. Have a
T.
great day.
You all have a wonderful day.
Afternoon,
Bye-bye.
Joe.
Bye, Joe. Bye, Joe.
Hi, bye. Big love.
Happy New Year's, Joe.
Happy New Year, Joe.
Yes, you too, guys.
So, Joe, I was reading what AI gave me. I had asked AI how can we transform fear? And the reason that
beautiful.
that came up was just because over the weekend, in the group, we had talked about the gap between where we are and where we could be. And Heinz had an aha moment and said, that's where you find wisdom. And so I'd been sitting with that, and I kept on thinking, why do we find wisdom there? So I decided to ask AI, and I shared it with the group, and so then we started to play. And that's when we came to fear. How can we transform fear?
Nice.
You play a lot with AI too, right?
Yeah, we do sometimes, yeah. That's a great question to ask.
There's so many great questions. Part of it is learning how to do the prompt. It's a big part of it, right? And I'm not that great with it yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, literally, like these days, because it's getting so advanced now, you don't even need like next level prompts. You can just literally talk in your everyday language, and then when it comes out, if it's not like you want, just literally correct it in everyday language. You know, it doesn't need to be like next level crazy prompts these days. You can just like, and like you can even put in a prompt, and then you can say, right, how could you optimize this prompt? So you could get like you can get the bot to optimize itself, but with your direction.
That's amazing, hey?
That's what I do. Like,
No, that's
I'll
perfect. Thank you.
literally I'll say, look at this prompt. This is what I've got. Like, how can you optimize this prompt? What am I missing? What things could be added that I'm not thinking about? Do you know what I mean? And then it'll bring you a big list, and then it'll like, right, okay, right, turn that into a prompt. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, okay. But yeah, but you can do. I do very simple wording. Really, it's yeah. You can get away with just talking in everyday language. You don't have to think you need to be speaking in some next level thing. You can just read it, see what it's missing, and then add it in your element. Because the part that it's missing is the heart. So like you're bringing the heart to the mastermind equation.
Yes. Yes.
But that's really cool, man. I like what I was hearing,
Yeah.
and that's exciting that you're exploring that. And if there's something you want to do and you like doing, we could do some together. We could play with it together and see what we learn from it.
Yeah. Well, I thought we had some silence in the group, and I thought, okay, so let's see what we can do for the next half hour. So sometimes when we are kind of complete with what people have needed from the group, we can either take something that has been discussed and see what it says, or if somebody else has a question around it.
Well, yeah, I've seen that this call was taking like AI transcriptions and stuff. There's a free software called Otter, OTTER, and you just literally bring it on the call, and it transcribes the call and like breaks it down and summarizes it. So it's like having a note taker there, and then you can literally go into it and you can like ask questions. You can say what was said there, and it'll take you right to that point in the actual video. So it's some pretty cool software to utilize and enhance what we're already doing.
And Zoom's got its own AI that can do that as well, right?
Yeah. it does. It's just that Otter. I've actually seen videos where it's done, and it's like the whole call's broken down into transcripts that you can
Mm,
literally
that's nice.
like you can like type in a few words and it'll take you to that point in it.
Wow, that's
I'm not too
amazing.
Yeah, it's mad. I'm not too clued up with what the with what the Zoom version does. But yeah,
Yeah, I haven't explored it enough. It can, so depending on what you ask it, it can just summarize, what was said during the meeting, which is obviously what a lot of people want it for, right? But then you can ask it for themes that were discussed, and then it gets more into the meat of
yeah,
what was done, and that's as far as I've explored it with it. I'll
yeah,
remember that otter. I didn't know about that.
yeah. We'll get we'll get an otter on this call. We'll get signed up to that, and then yeah, check that out. But yeah, like yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what can be done. Um, so happy New Year to all you guys.
Thank you.
Have you had a good one?
Yes,
Pretty good.
and you, Joe.
Good.
Better and better.
Good.
That's it. Better and better. Thank you. Let's go. 2025 is going to be a big one, man. This is a big one.
Well, the next step is always big, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to that thing where you was talking about fear with the AI, was talking about that on these other calls that I go on,
Mm-hmm.
and he's talking about how like fear gets generated when we focus on like what we're losing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an automatic emotion that's generated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then by focusing on what we're gaining
Mm-hmm.
and what we want, that automatically brings the love, and the connection. Um, so yeah,
And
with the fear,
even if you just leave it open, hey Joe, and you be curious about what
yeah,
it can bring.
yeah, because that's it. All emotion, all intense emotion, whether it's like love or fear, they can both be used to propel you to your
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
next. They can even catapult you,
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to see a gauge for like your personal growth, you'd see it spike up and you'd be like, yo, what happened then? And it'd be like, that was actually like a disastrous situation in your life. Do you know what I mean? And but if you didn't know that, you'd be like, yo, give me more of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's like, yeah, so and it's you using those emotions and it's just not getting stuck in them. But that's why
Mm.
it's like using it as like it's like a magnifying glass, like intensifying the focus. And that's the critical element to like turbocharge manifestation. And it's like handling and focusing that energy. But like even because when we're feeling the fear, it's only because we're literally thinking about what we don't want.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about And even when we think we're thinking about what we want, we're thinking about the lack of it or not having it, which is the um which is then like predestined, then like, we're pre-creating it. So yeah, man, it's choosing that.
So,
I,
as
I,
you were talking, Joe, what I was thinking was when we pay attention to emotions in terms of really being aware of where they sit in our body, and if we then go to that part of our body and remember that that experience in our body is a message, and our brain interprets that message. And if we remember that that message can be interpreted in different ways,
mm,
then we already create a shift,
yeah, yeah. That's it. The
right?
question is, yeah, how can I look at this differently? That
Yeah,
opens the mind up to
yeah,
like different options
yeah. New possibilities.
when we just like concluded on one and moved
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Expand your
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
yeah. I was listening. I was learning about something called enmeshment,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like I think if that's the right word, it can happen between like mothers and sons.
Mm-hmm. Can happen between um, fathers and daughters, can
Yeah,
happen between mothers and daughters, fathers and
yeah,
sons.
yeah.
It, it can
And
happen
it's
in a relationship with intimate partners, right?
yeah. Well, if I'm thinking of the right word, it's like the way I was learning about hearing and understanding it was, do you know, like when a guy's meant to go from like a boy or a guy into a man, that
Mm-hmm.
that transition. But
Mm-hmm.
but this embellishment, it's basically it's like a certain point in our timeline, we've been like we've kind of like frozen on that time. So when people say, "Yo, I'm 50, but I feel like 20," there's
Mm-hmm.
like there's actually some truth to it. But it's like part of us has got frozen on that timeline. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's why it's like grown up bodies walking around, but emotional age
Mm-hmm.
level is like low in it. Like we've not actually so but then the method is to go back to that version of yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then but what I thought was really interesting was because it kind of when he's talking about all these mindset processes, I see it like on a manual level of how like the superconscious recode can be so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Because like one of the things that you do is you go to that little version of you and you have a little chat and that. But one thing you do is like you flash loads of images of like all of the things that you've done, been, seen, do you know? And like
Mm-hmm.
you overload it with imagery to the point where it's like it has to just accept, like, yeah, do you know, like we're not this age anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All these things have happened. But yeah, it kind of resonated with me, man, because I don't know, like I've got that connection with my mum, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like that's strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like I feel I'm like I'm 38, but I don't feel 38. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like has have I got stuck on an age in a timeline? Um, obviously just by seeing that and being aware of it, because it's like if she's being like extra mothering her or like, which obviously I like that, you know, but it's I don't know. I'm just thinking because it's like when you've got that as well, you're constantly like, I don't know, like going for like reassurance or whatever. And it's not like an independent, true sovereign state to be in. You know, it's not a powerful, infinite consciousness state. It's a, do you know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm, mm.
So, like, yeah, 2025. Now I've become aware of that. I'm ready to make that transition.
It's a good
Bring
one.
that shift.
It's a very good one to bring into your awareness,
Yeah,
because it's not just that you are looking for the affirmation and the confirmation and the validation. With enmeshment, especially when it's between a parent and a child, it's also what is called upon in the child to protect the parent. So
yeah,
there's a mutual thing, do you see?
yeah. I see that now.
And
I can see
so
that.
part of your inner conversation will be, Mom is fine. She doesn't need to be mom to me anymore. She can go off and also be her own sovereign self. So in the same way that you are aware that you can give yourself that possibility, it could be useful if you can conceptualize that in doing that, you also provide that to her.
Yeah. It's like when I think about it, though, I feel like, you know, because then I think I want to have my own house. But it's like, even if I have my own house, I want my mum to be like still near. Do you know, like, so
And there's nothing wrong with that, Joe, right? It's not, just remember this is really useful. It's not what we do, it's how we do what we do. So it's
yeah,
that subtle energy that you're infusing your action with.
all of that's beautiful.
Okay. I've found that very, very, very useful in my life.
Yeah, that is a clip right there. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And infusing that energy. Yeah, that is a beautiful little 2-3 sentences there. Wow.
That I got from my meditation teacher.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I feel that straight away.
You're very welcome. I'm so glad it works for you.
Yeah, I can literally feel my energy now. Like it's like rising. It's like I'm in a cloud.
Keep your
Yeah,
feet on the ground.
that's such a valid point. And by infusing constantly, presently, your energy, because that's it. We go into unconscious patterns, you know,
That's right.
and then we're not infusing as energy.
That's right. So remember, as you go to the cloud, keep your feet on the ground. Because you can do both. That's what's important to remember. You stay grounded and your energy expands so much. As my teacher would say, you become blue sky. But your feet are on the ground.
Good morning, Sindrell.
Morning, Sindrell.
Good morning. Enjoying the beautiful discourse. Thank you.
Grand risings. Grand risings.
Yes. Grand rising into the blue sky.
Mm.
Mm.
Sindrell gave us a share yesterday, which to me felt like blue sky because I had this internal experience of a smile.
Mm.
I'm getting a line. I think Cinderell's going to bounce off this.
It's the
Right.
trampoline. Let's play.
I'm getting. Yeah, wait. I think he's gone now. Yeah, wait. Up, up into the blue sky.
Yeah.
Mm.
Loving. No, I've lost it. But oh,
Mm-mm.
A good start.
I'm just bathing. I'm just gonna bathe in this energy now, guys. Yeah,
Hmm.
Mm.
because I can feel it. Activation.
Mm. Okay, I'm bouncing.
Feel the
Let's go.
fire inside.
Mm.
That was Jesse's line a couple of days ago.
Can you repeat it,
Fire,
please?
Feel
fire
the
inside,
fire inside.
Mm.
at the fireside.
Yes, thank you, Heinz.
I've got like this swarming of different energies revelating, like it's like going into a big party room and saying what what's going on. There's so many different energies, and so I'm gonna play with the invitation to play with to bounce off of the words. So when I got on the line and what I was hearing, it's just always so good. So I'm gonna just play. I opened the door from sleep to waking, but yet it was a state of being, still making. My feet were swarmed and met with cool waters, and my body grew tall into infinite quarters. I could see horizons beyond the moon and the sun, and I was having tea in places with different people, with you and with everyone. The flavors were brilliant. The biscuits were fine. And then I could choose an opportunity that was not once mine. Going abroad and reaching across and seeing the opportunities. They were clear, not tossed. It's not how you do, it's not what you do, but the intentions of what you do to bring the world in unity. And I sit at the table and I look at your eyes that lead me to your heart and the unity. Wow, it's in you.
Thank you, Sinjel.
So beautiful.
It's so good to exercise the expansion of your heart with others. You can
Yes.
meditate with yourself,
Yeah.
but with others. I did pick up on something when you said it's not what you do, but how you do it. And I got the sense, who was that speaking? Was that Heinz saying it? I got the impression, because I didn't hear the previous conversation. It's like he wanted to do something, but it might not be the time or the place, or maybe even feeling selfish of wanting something, your own place or your own home, or just something for you. And Allison said it's not what you do, but how you do it. And so often we don't take an adventure of what we want. Like, we won't really exercise the thought of what we want because we're putting someone else's feelings or considerations ahead of our own. And we're taught that that is such an honorable thing to do. But I've been playing lately with putting my mask on first. And even the people that I love, if I don't teach them the beauty of putting your mask on first, for going for what you want, for following the adventures of your own beingness with good intentions, then what am I teaching them? What am I modeling for them? I'm modeling that you can give the best of what you have, but you can't be happy too. And my mind went to where Jesse led us for a good while into yes and. So I want to model something which for me now is more beautiful, is that I must pursue being my best person regardless and because of others, and being true, because if I fake my way through things to accommodate others, am I really being true? So if I'm really, really me, then any reflection they get off of me and that inspires them is a pure ingredient for them. And they can make their decisions and get their impressions off my truth instead of off of my deprivation and my fakery. Like, my sacrifices, who told me to be a martyr and sacrifice? And sometimes in sacrificing, we're doing too much for others that they don't even benefit from.
Mm. That's very true.
And it related a lot to what we've been talking about today. Fear.
Mm. And wisdom, hey Heinz?
Yeah.
Wisdom. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it's taking the wisdom from the fear.
Yeah.
Mm.
We just summoned the whole day up, Sinwell.
Mm. I've been playing with fear too. It's like if I'm adhering my actions, my behaviors, and my pursuit with any hint of fear, then I'm playing for the other team against me.
Mm.
And why would I do that?
The only thing to fear is fear itself.
And it's stupid because it's fake.
False
Right.
evidence appearing real. And that's it. To pull the wisdom out of the fear, the question is, what am I gaining from this?
Mm, mm, mm.
You're gaining, not facing how great you are. Is giving your life experience away because you think you can't handle it, but it's your life.
And then what do you gain from that?
For me, it's freedom. It's
This is
soaring.
another big thing that's coming up now on this call I was listening to. It's like he was saying we've got as future self, as present self, and as past self. But when as future self wins, as present self loses, or as past self loses. So we need to get it so all versions of us are winning. Because unless we don't, we're constantly getting sabotaged by either our past or our future. There's a sabotage and a saboteur, right? But
Mhm.
the sabotager is ourselves, right? And if that future version doesn't feel like it's gonna be gaining and feels like it's gonna be losing, then it sabotages us. We sabotage ourselves.
Yeah, it's self-sabotage.
A lot like what you sent yesterday, Isabel. The self-talk and the self-critic and whatever. It's like the future self Joe was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so the shortcut always is be in the present. And to be in the present, we need to pause. And to pause, we need awareness.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm just thinking you can't control tomorrow.
Yeah. And you also can't predict it. But how you deal in the present moment will profoundly impact on it.
Yeah, so you can create it.
Yeah, you create tomorrow today.
You can't control tomorrow, but you can create tomorrow today.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And don't attach to exactly how the outcome needs to look in that creation.
And don't let the past control the present.
Yeah.
Because you will only recreate the past.
Exactly.
By how we're living and pursuing through today.
Yeah.
Mm. Those are the 3 points. One is fixed, it's the past. One is the one you can deal with is the present, and the future, well, they'll change compared to where the past, no, the present, where you take it. What you do. you can have a goal for the future that you put into play in the present.
Yes. And that's our real manifestation, is what we put into play in the present. And we're so quick to overlook that.
Okay, I want to bring it into a reality zone for me. Allison, you sound like you feel 100% better. How are you feeling?
I feel more energized this morning. I don't have a headache,
Mhm.
and the nausea is reduced to the extent that I can actually feel hungry.
Mm. Mm. So I want you to take that feeling of hunger and just feel it. What does that feel like? Where do you feel it?
It's just above, but also just below the solar plexus.
Mm. And if your solar plexus could pick anything it wanted to taste, and they can, what would the solar plexus most delightfully enjoy circulating?
I think toast and butter.
Mm-hmm. And what would that do for you?
Imagining eating that brings about a satiation,
Mm-hmm.
satisfaction.
Mm-hmm. And what would that do for you?
It feels like it will give me energy.
Mm. Ooh, where you felt that energy too? Where's that energy? Where do you feel that energy going?
It radiates out
Mm.
into my limbs
Mm.
and the chest area. And the solar plexus.
Mm. Where else do you feel it?
Back of my head.
Mm.
In my eyes.
Mm. What does that do for you?
It lifts my heart.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. I want you to take a moment, a second, and I want you to look down your timeline and remember that displaced feeling of what we call not feeling well. Look over your shoulder, back at that. Now come back where you are. And how do you feel?
Less constricted.
Mm-hmm. And what will you do when you're less constriction?
Move.
Mm-hmm.
Have momentum.
Mm-hmm. And wisdom is with you, and What will you choose to do today?
Think I'm going to pick up the vacuum cleaner, do what I can,
Mm,
and then a little bit of organizing and see how far I get.
mhm,
Just do it until I don't enjoy doing it anymore.
mm.
Mm,
Okay.
And rest. If I need to rest with ease and
Mhm,
allow myself to my body to restore.
mhm,
And then when I've restored enough, move again.
mm, mm. Make sure you enjoy that toast. That's some powerful toast and butter, man.
yeah. And it goes to the solar plexus, the focus, the
Yeah,
center of all energy in your body.
yeah, and your heart. Wow. I just wanted to recognize and allow you to be present, give space in your presentness and what it's 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 like a sizzling bubble
Mm.
of
Mm.
sparkles
Mm.
and just letting that multiply throughout you.
Yeah, thank you, Cinderella. I went on that journey too. I was mid.
It was really good. I loved it.
I love it. I love it when someone can ask them flipping them fire questions, you know. But yeah, you that was beautiful.
Mm.
So yeah, thanks.
So what did that
Um,
do for you, Joe?
I was just going along with Alison, you know. I was just going along with those feelings, but like obviously I was getting different. I was thinking, right, yeah, what am I gonna do with this energy? But it's just I just appreciate them questions, you know,
Mm,
like because like I know how powerful they are.
mm,
So stepping up and you know, like going through that process, yeah, was beautiful. So salute to you.
mm.
There was such a presence and authenticity and spaciousness. If that's a word.
I heard it. It must be a word.
Mm,
So I'm on a little journey for some people,
Mhm.
which has actually been made present for me. So I realize it's for me as well.
Mm.
And I've been running into women and recalling the echoes of other women
Mm.
saying, and there's the men are saying it too without saying it because they don't want to admit it. Now I realize that's my reality of how it's perceiving, but I hear the women say it. I don't know my purpose. And it makes the top of my heart want to cry
Mm.
because I can relate for one, but I really like it's like you don't know your purpose. Like when you don't know your purpose. And my heart my heart just really feels very empathetic
Mm.
toward that because what are you doing? If you're not working on your purpose, if you're not moving and gaining wisdom through the adventure and journey of your purpose, then somebody else is using your energy. You're building somebody else's dream because you don't have your own. You can work with other people all the time, but if if you're just getting up and going and doing and using and being used for somebody else's objectives to be fulfilled without purpose, it's for me, it's sad. It's sad. And when I hear the last person who's said it to me, it just like rang out like all the other voices of women who said, well, I don't know what my purpose is. And so when you talked about the questions, asking the questions, it was the asking of the question and the next question and the next question that allows us to journey into doors that we don't even see by ourselves. And as conductors, we do get to take people into the land of infinite possibility. And see what zings you.
Yeah. So, Central, for me, I learned that I needed to make for myself, there was a distinction between purpose and what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that distinction for me was our purpose in this life is to become all of what we are. And that's a lifelong project.
Mm-hmm.
And it's separate from doing what we love to do.
Okay. I'm feeling that. Tell me more.
So I think the reason why I had to play with that so much and do so much searching with that was because it took me from my 20s, late 20s into my early 30s before I could get accepted into the program to become a psychotherapist, or to become a psychologist. That it was different in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled a lot because I so badly wanted to do that. I'd considered a whole lot of other things. And I'd circled back to wanting to do that. Like when I left school, that was my aim. And then my university years were very difficult. So it took longer. And then I get to the point where I've got everything that I need to apply for the program. And then I would get to the last round, but I wouldn't get into the program.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I think it was after the second year, it was after the fourth program that I'd applied for.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to sit myself down and say to myself, well, you might never get there. This might not be what you're going to be doing. And there was a part of me that was so depressed at the thought of that. And my question was, well, then what's my purpose? And I was really lucky and really blessed because I had my meditation path. And I used to just go and meditate on it. And in those hours and months of meditation, I started to realize this is my purpose. What I end up doing is different. It can be anything, and who knows, it might take me until in my 40s before I get into the program. And maybe that's exactly what needs to happen. So I could let go of an identity in a way when you think about it.
Mm.
And my purpose was to disentangle myself
Mhm.
from all the, in today's language, using Jesse's language, from all the negative charges. And learn to be neutral.
Mm.
Learn to be present, fully present with what is.
Can you correct me if your voice took me a couple of places, so I want to. So you're going after this program. You try 4 times and you don't get in.
Mm.
And then you sit yourself down and really meditate in between and through that process to ask yourself the question, well, is this my purpose? And are you saying, well, it may be what you're saying, but it's what rang in me, what resonated in me was the path you thought you should go was like so clearly direct, do this, do this, do this. And then you've got the label, you've got the certifications or whatever. But for you, I heard your training path was different.
Mm.
It was to disilluge, if I could make a word, to disilluge yourself from the so-called defined traditional path to certify you, to make you what that you were pursuing to be. That there was a more personal training for you, a more personal path of training. And even in between those 4 tries and those 4 tries, that you were already becoming that which you are called to be. Because some people just go through a school and get a paper, and they have not become the particular type of training that you have become.
Yeah, and I think that can apply to any chosen, in inverted commas for me, purpose. So the important distinction was, so if I never become a psychologist, so what is my life without being a psychologist? And then I realized my how I am in myself is my purpose, not what I do. or not only what I do, put it that way. And I think the reason why I'm speaking to it is because I found the same issue in Magmind too, where people were looking for their purpose. And it, it was like chasing their tail because their purpose was out there instead of in here.
But sometimes I feel like we need to see something out there
Yes, absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
resonates. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. And for me, it was seeing and experiencing my meditation teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was like the culmination of 10 years of exploring different meditation paths.
Mm-hmm. And different structures too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what's happening. That's what I see happening for me now. Like I know when I come across something, I was like, yeah, I resonate that. I am that. I give that. I do that. It just like makes the aroma of what I am more pronounced. Like I can smell and taste the subtle seasonings of different things. Because I'm not going to do everything of this and that and the other. I'm going to make it mine. But it's me giving myself permission to make it mine instead of me becoming something and just going through the process of it. Because for me, it's more of a feeling thing. You can take a trip that you've never taken before, and you may need some instructions in the map and the GPS. But after a while, you're like, there's a quaint little diner off the road. That's where I'm going. That's my spot. Oh, I like to stop over here and sit on the cliff for a while and, and look forward to those things in my trip now instead of just following the GPS because I want to make sure I get to the other end. But now it's purpose in the journey itself.
Yeah. That's a lovely way of putting it. I think that would make it so clear for people. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that distinction.
Thank you, ladies.
Well, it's my darling Kalis's birthday today, so I'm going to love and leave you guys.
Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday to Kalis. It's my oldest daughter's birthday today.
Really,
Well,
Central?
yeah.
Oh.
She's my bonus daughter from my first marriage, and she's fabulous. Oh my God, this woman is fabulous.
Birthday to her too.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to our
Congratulations.
daughters and many days for them. Happy birthday to our daughters. God blessed us with them.
Yeah.
It's your
As if
birthday
you've got
too.
daughters born on the same day. That's mad.
Wow.
Wow. What a let's enjoy this energy today of these
Yeah.
births.
7th of January.
Well,
Okay, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah.
I'll be
You
going
all
as
have a
well.
blessed
Great day. Thank you,
Lots
Many
of
everyone.
love.
blessings.
Love and
Bye.
hugs to you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.